Football. I'm Dave. This is George. How are you guys? Love you all. We are outside today. We got about a 40-degree day, but temperatures are dropping as we sit out here. So we'll see where we can go with this. We're gonna obviously talk about the Eagles.
Whiskey, keep me warm.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Eagles. We're definitely going to touch base on the Sixers. We are approaching the trade deadline, which is February 10th.
Yep.
So maybe we'll get another conversation in prior to that. So we'll see what we do with that. And then we'll also talk a little bit about the crazy NFL weekend and what we see happening the rest of the Super Bowl, right? NFC, AFC Championship, and Super Bowl. So with that being said, we'd love to start with, and George is going to make me do both the cigar and the whiskey. So let's start with the cigar. In my mind, this is the Romeo and Juliet 1875 Reserve. How would I say this? If you've never smoked a cigar before and like you want to get into like a cigar that's not a Philly Swisher, that has some flavor, that has a real company making it, like this is it. Like this, for me, this would be your entry level cigar. It tastes fantastic. There's no harshness to it at all. I've had my wife smoke this before. I think it's a great entry level for a woman. If a woman wants to smoke a cigar, how about that? How about me taking that?
I don't think you can say that.
Why
for a woman it's going to be entry level?
Yeah, well,
Equal opportunities in cigars.
I don't know many women that smoke cigars. Do you know any?
Sure. I do.
Oh.
Kid.
Kid from Bulls? Who are they?
I've seen women smoke cigars before.
I said how many do you know? I said how many do you know? Just because you've seen someone doesn't mean you know them.
I'm just saying
You saw them from across the bar. It's like, I know that girl.
It was
She's
in a
got
movie.
a Romeo and Juliet.
It was in a movie.
But it is a Romeo and Juliet 1875. I highly recommend it. It's good stuff. George is bailing on me, so I will move to something I literally discovered.
I literally just tasted it for the first time during the show. Like,
I literally discovered this because it was on sale at Fine Wine and Spirits.
You cheap bastard.
That's correct.
You cheap bastard.
It's called Pops McCain's, and it is an Irish whiskey, and it is it was on sale. It's usually $35. It was like $7 off, something crazy like that. So I said, why not try it?
Cheap son of a bitch. I was looking to get some Bookers today, and the shitty liquor store by Dave.
When we
has
review
nothing.
Bookers, that's when he buys.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway,
I'll
I
talk
bought
about
Pops McCain.
Yeah, Pops.
Excuse me. And this is my second bottle. So the first bottle didn't last long, and I'm on to my second one.
I'm sure.
2 rounds of NFL playoffs, and that's what happens.
Drinking whiskey all by yourself. That's cool.
That's absolutely correct. I may have an issue. I live in a household full of women.
Oh, they don't like whiskey either?
They don't
Jesus
drink whiskey
Christ.
either. They don't drink whiskey or
No
smoke
cigars, no whiskey? You sexist fucking...
That's correct.
Motherfucker.
So anyway, Pops McCain, if you see the color, I just mentioned, you guys can see the color. It's very light and it's also incredibly drinkable. As George is showing you right now, I think he's thoroughly enjoying it. But I could be wrong. I don't know. But it's
not bad. It's not bad.
I think it's a drinkable whiskey.
Yeah.
In other words,
for the price, it's very good.
If you want to have a session, right? Like you want a couple of hours with your boys discussing Ben Simmons, and just chilling out. You're not in any hurry to go anywhere.
Listen, I am so sick and tired of talking about
Okay.
Ben
Well, you're not in any hurry to go anywhere. You just want to relax.
Yeah.
I highly recommend Pops, and it's good. I mean, it's really good, and it's a discovery of mine. So I appreciate all of you guys listening. A neighbor just came by. Yeah. So we're going to dive into this real quick. Obviously, we're going to next go. So we did cigars, we did whiskey, we're going to go to football.
Sure.
So we'll just touch base. We're not going to go back to the Eagles game. That was painful. But let's touch base on where are the Eagles right now, George? And obviously, let's talk about the quarterback, although I think it's overplayed. But
it's overplayed.
Where are the Eagles right now, and where are we with the
quarterback?
How's it
overplayed? It's the most important position on the field.
Well, go ahead. Go, riff. Let me hear your thoughts.
my thoughts are that and you're right. This is talked about a lot, and I'm sure, man, it's going to be talked about up until through free agency and the draft. It's just with Jalen Hurts, and there's people on one side and there's people on the other, and I just kind of feel like he's a guy, and I everybody likes him. The team likes him. People like him. I think he's a great guy. To me, Jalen Hurts got summed up on one play, that interception to Devontae Smith.
It was bad. Michael Edwards.
At first, he didn't see Devontae Smith open. Then Devontae Smith got open again, and then he's not able to make the throw. And obviously, it's been shown all over how many times he missed Quez Watkins and how many times he missed this guy. And if you watched the playoffs last week, you know how important a quarterback is. And then Bill, it's a second year. You got to give him time, and there's time, but his arm's not going to get any stronger. What he's got to be able to do is he's got to be able to anticipate, go up to the line of scrimmage, kind of see what's going on. I mean, the Buccaneers were just like, hey, we're just going to rush you. We're going to put one-on-one. We don't think you can read the defense. So if he's putting in the time and he's doing the things people are saying, like, you would think that would improve as the year goes on to the point where you're at the playoffs, and it didn't happen. Doesn't mean that it can't happen. It doesn't mean that it won't happen. But how much time are you going to give him? I think one of the worst things a franchise can do is draft somebody just to draft somebody, where they don't necessarily believe in that quarterback, but it's the best quarterback available. So I wouldn't suggest doing that. I think they got to look at some things, and if Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, those guys are reasonable, I think you got to listen and talk about that. If it's not there, you give Jalen one more try at it. I like the guy. I right now I don't see it. I haven't seen him be able to do the things that you need to do to win playoff games. And you look at a lot of his stats, and everybody goes, well, he did this and it was better than this person, better than Wentz. How many of those in the fourth quarter, like when you're getting blown out,
No.
like how many of those things is he doing against good teams when it counts? And the Eagles overall, they took advantage of their schedule, not knocking them. They were retooling and everything, but they beat second and third string quarterbacks, which they should have, and they did. But all the good teams they played, he did not play well against any of them. Outside of, if you want to count the Chargers as a good team or the Saints as a good team,
he played decent.
Like the Saints and Chargers, like if you want to count them as good teams, like he played good against
no
those
playoff teams, right?
But no playoff teams.
But I think we're aligned, and maybe I'm wrong. I think the Eagles are aligned with everything we're saying. Is Jalen their number one quarterback? Yes, he's their quarterback right now. If there's an opportunity to get Derek Carr or Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson, they're going to do it. I have no doubt in my mind.
I am not touching, much like massage therapist, I'm not touching Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to make a joke about that. But
and obviously, I think that's completely dependent on him getting all of his legal issues resolved.
Well,
which I don't even know if that's possible.
But what's resolved? Resolved is somebody sitting out of court. You obviously still did it. And I don't want that guy.
Right.
I have a problem with him. I have a problem with what he did.
And no argument here. He's like my 18th choice.
I don't.
So
he's. I will take Jalen.
You're saying he's off the board.
I would take Jalen Hurts. I would take Gardner Minshew. I don't want anything to do with Sean Watson.
Where is on the Michael Vick scale?
Michael Vick right now is retired for.
No, but Michael Vick had dog.
But I mean,
gladiator.
But that was my choice
ring.
to sign Michael Vick. Either.
No, but I'm saying is Deshaun worse than Michael Vick? Is it the same level? Is it less?
Yeah, I don't. What does that matter? Anything?
Oh,
right
a tough question. Tough question. You don't
well,
answer?
it's a tough question. It's not a tough question. I'm saying, why is
it's a
it
question
relevant now?
all you folks got to answer.
Deshaun Watson, and you're guilty until you're innocent proven guilty, but he obviously 22, 23 women came. He did something that was inappropriate.
He did crazy shit.
And I can't do. I can't support that. I can't have him on my team. I can't cheer for him. He's not that
That's
guy.
fair.
I don't want any part of him.
And you know
I
what?
don't care how talented he is, and he's talented.
Oh, he's really talented.
He's a top 5 quarterback
He's
in the league.
really
You,
talented.
you know what I mean? But I would rather not win than have him on my team.
All right, I get it. And you know what? I'm with you. You have just changed my whole thought process, and I am with you. So
You have $3. I have $2. Like
That's right.
that guy is a jerk, and
Okay.
forget it.
So let's move on here.
Yeah.
We're going to move on from that. Let's talk about real quick, not real quick, but you know, let's just talk about overall. What do you think the Eagles' offseason should look like, and you know, what areas should they concentrate in, and if you could specify. What areas should they concentrate on in free agency, and then what's in the draft, or doesn't it matter, or does it matter, and I'll let you go from there.
I mean, I think if you're talking Eagles, you need a bare minimum 6 starters. You need a defensive end, you need a linebacker, you need 2 safeties, you need a corner, and you need a wide receivers. That's bare minimum. That's not getting into whether Jason Kelsey retires. That's not getting into
Brandon Brooks, what we think he's retired.
Brandon Brooks, or you know, adding another wide receiver. So I think looking at the way free agency and the draft, you know, the 3 guys that I would love to see them go get. Number 1, wide receiver. I do not trust the Eagles. Wide receiver and cornerback.
No.
I'm really, really concerned. I mean, Devontae Smith, they drafted this year. He's the first wide receiver they drafted that's been any good since Jeremy Maclin in 2009.
He's the first. What was the last SEC receiver they drafted?
And that's
it was Jeremy Maclin, I think.
And it's insane. It's insane that Howie Roseman's been in charge since 2010 for most of that time, except for 1 year.
Chip Kelly.
Well, 1 year, Chip Kelly.
I think Chip Kelly had more than one.
Never drafted anybody from Alabama, and then look who he takes. Devontae Smith and Larry are both good. Like, it's anyway. Don't get me started on Howie.
I agree.
A quarterback. The last good quarterback was Lito and Sheldon Brown in 2002.
Most underrated thing in Eagles history is when Lito would make a play and they would play the Lito shuffle at the lake. I used to love that.
Yeah,
Lito.
Sure. You're a big fan.
Dude, Lito was awesome.
Yeah, it's a good song.
SEC guy.
Yeah. SEC guy. They
There
both
you go.
were. Brown went to South Carolina.
That's correct.
So I have a real worry, concern, issue with them picking those positions. So and they just don't pick linebackers. I mean, so, and if they do, they stay.
I am going to make a prediction that they are going to take a linebacker. They're going to take a linebacker with one of those 3 picks. If, I will put a qualifier, they keep all 3, which I don't know if they will. But
and that might be so. If you go and get a wide receiver, and I think it's how you're going to spend your money, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think safety. There's a couple of good safeties out there, right?
In free agency or the draft?
In
Or
free
both?
agency.
I think in the draft too.
Well, in the draft, but I mean, the couple of safeties I think might get picked before.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, obviously Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame, but Marcus Williams from New Orleans and Jesse Bates from Cincinnati, both really, really good safeties that'll be available.
And you and I briefly touched on New Orleans and the situation they're in. They're not signing him again.
They're in cap hell. You know, and I think Cincinnati has to plan down the road, you know, what they're going to give Burrow after next year and all these things. I think, you know, as well, you're not going to be able to draft 2 safeties and start them. You know what I mean? And then I think one of them has to come
One
out
of
of
them
free
has to
agency.
Unless you want to play Epps, who is under contract next year.
I think Epps at best is more of a third safety coming in and playing in.
I agree.
You know, if you sign one of these guys and you can't find somebody to draft, and you have to sign Harrison McLeod to a 1-year deal, one of them to a 1-year deal.
Not both.
It's not the end of the world. But the other position, Hassan Reddick, Temple guy, 23.5 sacks. Playing him at linebacker and really letting him get after the quarterback having somebody that athletic at that position. You know, him and TJ Edwards. And he's going to cost some money, but he's not going to be outrageous.
No.
And then DJ Shark is from Jacksonville, 6'4", but
yeah, a lot of you guys don't know DJ Chark from Jacksonville, 6'4", was hurt last year.
He was hurt, broke his ankle, I believe. Pro bowler in 2019, and then just was hurt this year. Shitty quarterback play in 2020. I think he's a guy.
But Jacksonville has enough money, right, that they could re-sign him if they wanted to.
They could, but they need a lot of people at a lot of positions. And I think he's a guy that you could get for a reasonable amount of money.
Okay.
And then I think you have to early go after edge rusher and a cornerback.
Yeah.
Cornerback, I'm a little nervous about, depending as you get down into that draft. But I think there's a couple guys that are top 15 that you can't really miss on. Yeah. So I would encourage that to be an early pick by the Eagles. And then really that extra pick, to Dave's point, maybe I trade that for next year because it's a very quarterback-heavy draft. If I can get a second this year and then a first next year for that pick, that's something I do. And if you keep the third, I think you're looking best available. There's a couple of really good O-linemen. If one of them slips, you can't ever have enough O-linemen.
You can't ever. That's the one thing. The Eagles have made the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 years. If you think about it, the only reason they've made the playoffs is because of their offensive line. But literally the only reason they made it.
If you think about it, like in just looking at the last 4 years, 3 out of the last 4 years, you were 9-7, 9-7, 9-8.
Right.
That's
same record.
That's
right?
what they are. Yeah. And that's the team they are, and that's where.
But I think my point to you is
you can't mess up this year. You have.
Oh no, without a doubt. You have so many picks, so many high picks.
You have around 40-some million in cap space this year. You have $100 million next year. Now I would say $100 million if you sign guys this year. That's going to go down a little.
Yeah.
But you have draft picks this year. You got
a plethora of draft picks.
You have,
and they did well in the draft last year so far.
You have to decide.
Did well.
You have to. This is it. This off season, because when you get into 2023, that's your leap. That's your leap year.
Yeah, agreed.
And if it's not, all these other guys are going to be due contracts, and you're just going to be in that cycle of being a 9-7, 9-8 now.
And if you can't figure out a way to get an elite quarterback, right? If you can't get Derek Carr, if you can't get Russell Wilson, like you got to load up on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, that's what you got to do. I mean, you have no choice.
Absolutely.
That's how you're winning the division. That's how you're getting a home playoff game.
You have to get another wide receiver, though. That's the one thing on offense.
I'm 100% on you, but I'm not drafting one. I'm signing.
We're signing
a receiver.
If
not two, correct. But I'm signing a wide receiver. There's so many wide receivers available this year.
So Wilson from Ohio State and Williams from Alabama. You don't touch that draft?
I'm not.
If they fall to you?
I'm not. If I trade out of 15, 16, or 19 into the 20s to pick up another pick, I could probably do it. I think they have enough young guys.
Those guys won't last to that point.
I think they will. I think all these I don't even want to go into it. Tom Brady might retire. Then there's another quarterback opening. Sean Payton just announced his retirement today. There's
by the way, fuck Sean Payton. He's
fuck Sean Payton. But there's so many teams that need quarterbacks. All these quarterbacks who you say, what did you just say to me? Best available? They're all going to get drafted. You know that, right? They're all going to get drafted. Not because they're good, because they're the best available.
And that's where I don't want the Eagles to make that mistake. If you truly believe the guy is the guy, don't just pick him because he might be a little better than Hurts. I'd rather you wait, or I'd rather you go for a veteran.
The only quarterback that I saw this year, and I didn't see every quarterback. I know everyone's going to act like they saw all these guys. I did not. I saw Pickett play twice. He's good. He's really good. He's 24 years old.
Small
he played
hands.
4 years.
Smells like cabbage.
Got small hands. Smells like Jared Goff. Jared Goff. That's all.
Little tiny hands. Little tiny hands.
But he could throw. He's got an arm. He can. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's move on. We're gonna change courses here. And we're going to head into the Sixers.
The 10-9-8-76ers.
The 10-9-8-76ers, who went through a tough stretch with COVID and losses, and they still have Milton and Tybalt and Green are still out, by the way.
Well, Thibault, because he got cheap shotted.
Yeah, so they're still out. So they're still undermanned. But I think they have 8 of the next 10 at home or something crazy like that. And they're sitting in pretty good shape. What are they, 3.5 out of the top seed in the East? Something like that?
I mean...
And they haven't played well. I don't think they played well all year. Do you?
I think and that's the thing. The East is very winnable this year. And I'm not suggesting Morey trade Simmons for Barnes, Hield, and Bagley.
Let's stop right there.
No.
He just introduced Ben Simmons, which was my next topic.
Well,
so
I have 2 problems. I have Simmons and Rivers, the same problems as last year.
Yeah, I'm not a Rivers guy.
And Rivers, like, everybody loved, Doc Rivers. Like, this dude won once with 3 first ballot Hall of Famers and has never done anything since then except lose in the playoffs with talented people around.
Yeah, always had talented guys.
You know,
with
like
the Clippers, with the Sixers,
and now he's just being a fucking dickhead. And you know what I mean? Like, oh, you can't question me. I'm Doc Rivers. Number 1, you're fucking Glenn in Philadelphia. All right, Doc. Fucking.
That's true. He has to be Glenn. He can't be.
Yeah, Glenn. That's if I was there. If I was Keith Pompey and he talked to me that way, I'd be like, listen, Glenn. All right. You know what I mean? You played Furcon 28 minutes in a playoff game, kept Ben Simmons in because he refused to shoot, and you sat Maxey. You know, I'm going to call you out on that stuff. You're not above it. You're not above, like, you know what I mean? Like,
a lot of coaches do that, though, right? I'm not going to play a rookie in a playoff game, even if the rookie's the best player on your
Furkan
bench.
couldn't cover you. Now, right now, after drinking bourbon, you'd put up 20.
I'd light Furkan.
You put up 20. Little 15-foot jump shots over.
I couldn't guard Furkan.
No, I mean Furkan.
But I'd put Furkan. I'd put 20.
Furkan would put 70 on you. It'd be his best scoring day ever. But like,
I would get help.
You would need help. A lot of help.
I played Mike Vrieswick in a summer league game, and he had 46 on me.
In the first half.
No, that was both.
Well, he didn't play in the second half, though.
Well, we only had 6 guys. I was the only one that was just trying to guard him. What are you going to do? He didn't go inside. He just...
I tailgated with Mike Vrieswick once. Yeah. T for Temple U.
He lit me up.
Yeah. He could shoot.
Vrieswick.
Yeah, Vrieswick.
That's correct. He was good.
Sign him up. Put him in the corner.
Where's he at?
Where's he? Put him in the corner and let him shoot threes.
So I just have one question.
He's probably better than Ben Simmons.
We're getting a little crazy, which is a good thing, but I have one question to ask, George. NBA trade deadline is February 10th, for those of you who do not know, and today is, what the fuck is today?
25th,
26th. We have 2 weeks, 3 weeks to the deadline. Will Ben Simmons be traded at the deadline? That's the only question I need you to answer for me.
I don't think so. I mean, I would put it at probably less than 10%.
All right, so let me have a follow-up, unless you want to expound.
I just, you know, without knowing, you hear 1,000 rumors, without knowing what's offered out there, but
I think half that shit we read online is bullshit, by the way. At least half of it.
Absolutely. Half of it's by agents and coaches and GMs. They want to get their narrative out there. If you could get Halliburton, I'm making that trade. I'm making it. Done deal.
I like Halliburton. I have to agree with George.
You know, I have the concern of holding out for Harden. Number one, I'm not a huge Harden fan. Number two, you don't know that's happening, and number three, you're sending a message to the rest of the team. It's just like, and to the rest of the NBA. Listen, I think Simmons has handled this completely wrong. I think he's been a jerk and an asshole. But you know what? NBA players look at this.
That's what they do. NBA players run the league.
And agents look at this, and it's a bad look. I'm not saying you trade them for a bag of basketballs or 3 marginal players. But if you can get one good guy that in your mind, quote unquote, isn't
can get better and is ascending, which Halliburton would be, right?
I mean, look at Halliburton's first 2 years. Go compare his stats to Simmons. He can play defense, and you know what? Halliburton shoots 42% from 3.
Good size, 6'5", for those of you that do not know.
6, and you can play him with Maxey because he's 6'5".
Yeah. They would play well together.
They would play well. I think if you had him, you could challenge in the East, and you may not win this year, but he's a guy that can grow.
He's going to
get
better next year.
He's going to keep getting better. So that's what I would do. The Sixers ruined their franchise in 2019 after they lost to Toronto, and Simmons and Brown came and said, "Hey, we don't want Jimmy Butler here." I would have fired Brett Brown, hired Monty Williams, traded Ben Simmons, kept Jimmy Butler, and then maybe we draft Bridges and keep him. I want you to think Monty Williams on this team.
Zaire Smith? You're not a Zaire Smith guy?
With Butler, with Bridges, and with whatever you traded Simmons, where his definitely his value was much higher than now. How good is that team? How good is that team?
Totally agree.
So
in Daryl Morey's defense, he was not GM at that time.
In Daryl Morey's defense, he's never won a finals or went to a finals.
Okay, but he was not GM when all those Butler, Brett Brown decisions were made.
I know, but what's he done since he's been here 2 years now?
Okay.
Do something.
Okay, agreed. No argument here. Agreed.
What's he done? Seth Curry and Danny Green?
George Hill.
Yeah, George Hill. Like,
George
come on.
Niang.
Yeah, George's. Yeah. He could sign veteran backup centers. Like, what are you like? Daryl Morey's so great. We're 2 years into this. Like
George Niang.
He's a fine role player.
Come on, I'm going to drink to George Niang.
You can drink.
Fire
you can drink
up.
to George. Who doesn't like a good George? But you got to do a little fucking more than that. You know.
If the Sixers, my last question to you, if the Sixers do not trade Ben Simmons, will they make a trade at the deadline? That does not include Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have to, and I on text I've sent you a couple. I think there's 2 point guards out there, and you don't have a true point guard on your roster.
No, you have no point guards on the roster.
There's 2 point guards.
Furkan plays point sometimes.
Yeah.
What the Furkan is going on with that?
That's like you play point guard, no one would see the ball. The no pass point guard.
I pass once. If it comes back, it's going in a rim.
Yeah. So Jalen Brunson, Patrick Beverly.
Yeah, there's got to be somebody.
Both on the last year of their contracts. Both good defenders. Both good 3-point shooters. Both playoff experience. I send Danny Green, lottery protected first, to them.
Yes.
And I get one of those guys back. At the very least, I have a veteran point guard, and I can even play with Maxi a little. Maxi's off ball and stuff like that in certain lineups.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, that I make that trade without question.
Without a doubt, and I agree. And you know,
and I think those teams would be interested. Minnesota's not going anywhere. They know Beverly's leaving after this year, right? Brunson has rejected, a contract.
and I think he'd love to come to Philly.
And you would have his rights. His family's from Philly, grew up in Philly, went to Villanova, and I know that doesn't mean everything, but you know what? If
but
you paid him,
he wants to come here.
But if you paid him, then
he's coming.
You got him.
He's coming, without a doubt. All right, so we're done with the Sixers, we're done with the Eagles, and we're just going to talk about the NFL. Obviously, one of the greatest divisional playoff rounds in the history of mankind. That was insane.
I lost the Bills and Packers.
I lost the Bills. My original Super Bowl prediction for any of you that actually watched this thing was the Bills and the Rams. So I saw the Rams, but obviously the Bills
and
miraculously somehow lost.
So just real quick, and I don't want to go down. 13 seconds left.
Should Sean McDermott be fired?
How? Well, the special teams coach. How?
How do you not kick the ball on the ground?
Or kick it where it lands at the 5 or 10, and they have to return
it. You can't kick it out of the end zone.
You can't. I said it before the kick, and after the kick, I'm in a bar. I'm hammered. I'm doing shots of Tully. I'm drinking double vodka drinks, and
you're doing Tully and vodka,
and I still
be alive.
and I still knew that. Like how? Number one, it's going to take 5 seconds off the clock.
Guy's sick. I don't know how he drinks so much.
Number two, you maybe don't have the ball then at the 25-yard line where he only needs 40 yards. Patrick, we had timeouts. It's Patrick Mahomes.
It's not even where. It's not. Besides the fact that the defense was ridiculous. know what else amazed me? Andy had timeouts left. He never has timeouts left.
See?
Somehow he
See how important he's learned from us. He's learned. In
I don't
our
think
time.
Andy ever had a timeout left while he's with the Eagles.
He's learned.
KC, he's got all kinds of timeouts left.
I will say this to Andy for all the people
Yeah.
forever, and I know a lot of guys that would trash him. He's going to be number
He's
5
a
in
great
wins.
coach. He's a great coach. I mean, he really, at the end of his tenure with the Eagles, really, I don't know. Maybe he was sick
It was
and
14
Lord.
years.
Who knows?
Yeah, it was
Who
14
knows?
years.
Yeah.
It runs its course on almost anybody. So, but hey,
All right,
predictions.
so we're gonna
this
wrap
week.
up. So we're gonna
Predictions.
Wrap up. Yeah, and you know what? What's the lines on these games? Because I
7.
can only.
The last I saw were the Bengals were +7, and
Bengals are
and the
+7.
49ers are +3.
So the Bengals +7. That's a weird line to me. That's a lot because they played really well. Do you think that's a lot?
I think the Bengals defense the last 5 weeks
Has been great.
very, very good.
Yeah.
And I think they have the ability to put points up on the board.
Yeah.
I like
Awesome.
the Bengals +7.
I got to take the Bengals +7 too. And it has nothing to do with like. I actually think KC's better, but 7 points.
And KC might win the
it's
game.
too much.
But I figure it's another close game.
Yes.
I figure it goes down to the end where it's a close game. And at 7, I feel safe.
Bengals playing with house money in my mind, right? Like nobody expected them to be in the AFC Championship game.
don't say
Did
that.
you? Did you have them in the AFC Championship?
I
don't think you did. I think you and I talk all the time. I don't think
we did because I had them. If you remember, I bet them the last 2 weeks.
Well, you did, but I'm saying prior to that.
Well, prior, I just think they had 2 good matchups with the
They
Raiders
did,
and the Titans.
and it is about matchups without a doubt. So yeah, and then let's go to the NFC, where, by the way, let me just say this because no one ever wants to say anything bad about Aaron Rodgers. I will. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a
Two
lot of people are saying bad things about
2
Aaron Rodgers
NFC
right
Championship games in a row at home, favored 2 playoff games. Obviously, it was the NFC Championship. Lost. Okay. Tom Brady threw 2 picks last year, 2 in the red zone,
now.
and he
But
lost.
3 picks total.
3 total, 2 in the red zone.
Yeah.
They lost. This year he had how many touchdown passes? He's the MVP of the league, folks, right? He's the greatest quarterback ever.
Well, Tom
He had
Brady.
no
Whoa. Tom Brady's the
touchdown.
greatest quarterback ever.
Well, I mean,
There's
this
nobody-
year, he was the greatest quarterback ever.
Actually, I think Brady was better this year,
Well,
too.
he probably was, too. 0 touchdown passes for Mr. MVP. 0.
Listen, I'm with you.
You can't do that at home. I don't care.
He's
I
come
don't care.
up. He's come up small.
Can you imagine Jalen Hurts, a 4-point favorite at home, doesn't throw a touchdown pass? What we would be doing to Jalen Hurts in this town?
I think he's come up small
Ooh,
in the playoffs.
0-4 against San Fran in the playoffs.
And it's fun.
Hasn't been in a Super Bowl in hasn't been a Super Bowl in 9 years. 9 playoff appearances. Good.
Not 9. They haven't been in the playoffs in 9 years.
Yeah, 9 in his last 9 playoff appearances.
Yeah,
he has
yeah.
yet to get to the Super Bowl. So
9
if I said that wrong, I apologize.
Yeah, 9 out of 11 years though. But it's all right.
I'm not saying he's there all the time.
No.
He just can't get to the final game.
I listen, and I agree. And the last 3 years they've won 13 games each year.
Ooh, has he been in a Super Bowl?
No.
Ooh.
So I mean that.
Ooh.
I am with you. Impressed with San Fran's defense. It's fun. Early in the week. Like I was on
Jimmy G.
I was on
all the shit Jimmy G gets. He's in the NFC Championship game.
Jimmy G stinks.
Jimmy G stinks. This is 2 out of the last 3 years. Jimmy
His
G's in
defense-
the NFC Championship
His
game.
that defense, and you have Debo,
You can say that about Terry
you have
Bradshaw.
Debo Samuel,
You can say that
Elijah.
about- you can say that about Terry
I
Bradshaw.
will say it about Terry Bradshaw, Troy Aikman, all those guys.
Agree.
Troy Aikman was Trent Dilfer with more talent. He was a game manager. Jesus.
Troy Aikman was not a great player.
You know,
I'm sorry.
he was
I know
good.
I'm an Eagles fan.
He was good.
He's
He
a
had
good player.
He had a good player. He had a good arm. He had talent all around him. Jesus.
5 up.
Anyway.
Just so for everyone knows, the 1 year, I think 2 out of 3 years, Dallas had 5 All-Pros on the offensive line. 5. Not like one of their guys made it. Like all 5 made it. Like that kind of thing.
I don't want to talk about the Cowboys. They stink and choke every year. It's great.
Yeah, it is great. And
but
they're in cap hell again, and they're $16 million over the cap again.
But Jerry Jones is their GM. I mean, he does draft.
They had a nice. They scored a ton of points this year. They just couldn't get it.
They score a
done.
ton of points in September and October every year. Fall
They
apart in
cannot.
November. And
Yeah,
December.
you're right. As the year goes on, they can't get it done. It's
Dak
amazing.
and Tony Romo, overrated. And if they didn't play for the Cowboys, you
You
wouldn't
never
hear about
heard
them.
of them. Yeah, I agree.
I like the Rams. I think the Rams have some revenge on their mind.
My Super Bowl pick was the Rams.
At 3, I think that's a good line. I think San Fran plays them tough. I think it's the Rams' big problem is really they get the lead and they're not a good team playing with the lead because they're all about attacking and going downfield
they can't sit
and
back.
scoring and then when they sit back, like, don't take your foot off the pedal. Then you know what I mean. If that's what it is, don't play it safe.
Just go.
Just go. Just go. I think Sean McVay is a pretty smart guy. Hopefully he learned that. So I think they cover.
I think it'd be really cool for all the shit Matthew Stafford has taken, right? And some of it is on him. I'm not going to say it's not. But it just, if he ends up going to the Super Bowl, it shows you what a mess Detroit's been for years. Like, it's not.
I don't think we need to see that know that Detroit's a mess. The one thing that is kind of to look at as something, Cincinnati and the 49ers. Cincinnati's made the Super Bowl. They've played the 49ers both times. The 2 times the Bengals have gone, they've played the 49ers.
They've lost both times.
And they've lost both times. So,
you saying it's a three-peat? You're calling for a three-peat?
No. I'm saying I like Cincinnati plus the 7. I'm saying I like Rams plus the 3. But it would be pretty crazy if, again, it was
Rams minus 3.
Minus 3.
Yeah,
Minus 3. Excuse me.
That's all right.
Yeah. All
So,
right.
I mean, San Fran would be that wild card team if they pull that off.
Yeah. And San Fran didn't get in until they had to beat the Rams.
They had to beat the Rams
the
to
last
get in.
day to get in.
Which is the other reason why I don't think they can do it again. Because of that. So I think the Rams are going to be like, okay.
Rams are going to be Rams. I like the Rams.
I like the Rams too. I think I like the Rams to win the whole thing, actually.
Yeah.
Obviously, I picked that earlier, but I think.
Dude, they went all in on it. I mean, they have no draft picks. They have no money.
They have no draft picks, no cap space.
They are all
in.
the chips to the middle of the table.
Which I like.
You gotta
love that.
When you were there, when you're that close,
Yes.
I think that's when you do it.
And I think Von Miller, never been here. He played great last week. He's going to play like an animal this week, too.
Well, Von Miller won a Super Bowl.
And Larry Donald was unbelievable
Yeah.
this past week.
Aaron Donald?
Aaron Donald. I said Larry Donald. Who's Larry Donald? Is he an NBA player? Larry Donald.
No, maybe Aaron's brother. I don't know.
All right, so we are all done, I think.
Yeah.
Unless you got something else?
Nah, man, that's it.
Thank you guys all for listening. As you can see, the sun is going down, so we have no more light left.
I can't feel my hands anymore. It's fine. They're numb. I mean, literally, they're almost blue. Look at my knuckles. They're
What are you
like
doing with the cigar? You don't even have it lit. You're disgraced
you're
right now.
shitty.
The only thing you're doing is drinking whiskey. You have nothing else going on.
Look at this little shitty fucking. Look at this
the
lighter.
only lighter
Like,
I
look at
had.
this lighter.
That's the only lighter I had.
Would you steal this from a lady smoking Virginia Slims?
You know
like,
what?
Jesus Christ! Look at this thing.
You think he would have brought a lighter, but he doesn't.
I come to your house and you're the cigar guy, and you got
Love you
nothing.
all. Like,
Nothing.
subscribe. Love you guys. See ya.
Cheers.